Hey boys, Jake here. And my question, are you avoiding life or are you living life? Are you taking this life for granted or are you approaching life at its fullest? Are you facing life itself? And I'm going to be talking a little bit about today and the power behind being able to approach your challenges, approach what you fear the most. And I really want to gift you with this way of being. Because the first thing I want you to do, the first thing I want to kind of make clear that a lot of this personal development, a lot of these perspectives, um, they're not truth. Like this isn't truth. This isn't like truth in a grand sense. These things are just ways of seeing the world. And really, your level of your perspective is your level of power. If you have a perspective where the world is a fearful and scary and horrible place, and everything's impossible for you, you will actually limit your power. But if you allow your perspective to expand and you see the world in a different way, that it's actually a beautiful place, it's a place of collaboration, or perhaps you even throw out your perspective altogether and just kind of admit that you don't know, like existentially, you don't know what the world is really like, and you stop lying to yourself, stop self deluding, then all of a sudden you open up the world to yourself. You become more capable and possible of doing things. So um, these things are more frames, right? And I want to give you today something that you can see the world. It's a gift of how to live your life in this particular way. It's something to be considered. Now, what's really important is what's going on inside of you as you're listening to this. This means what is going on inside of you? How do you see the world? What can you get out of this? How are you seeing the world now? I want you to start listening to personal development and listening to this speech as if it's about you completely and your being and what's going on in your mind and how you see the world. The first thing I want to do to kind of get you primed up is share with you a story from my childhood. I remember one of the most fondest joys of when I was young was when I was playing soccer. I absolutely loved soccer. But for me, I was always kind of a gentle, sensitive kind of kid. I never wanted to be hurt and I never wanted to really hurt anyone. So I'd go in for tackles, right, to tackle and get the ball. But I would either miss the ball or I'd kind of get hurt, pushed away from the ball, and I'd never make tackles. And then I remember my coach said to me, which is at the time, it's something that blew my mind. The harder that you go in, the safer you are and the safer your opponent is. So with that in mind, I thought, well, if what I want to do is safety, well, I'll go hard and just listen to coach. So I went hard into the tackle. I fully committed to the tackle. I approached my fear, which was really a tackle. And then boom, all of a sudden, I was successfully tackling. And that distinction in your mind, and if you don't know, if you haven't played soccer or you haven't played a sport or anything like that, that distinction in your mind will be something there. Like there will be some experience in your life where you know that if you approach, you attack, you make the tackle, you're going to succeed. But if you half-ass it, if you kind of avoid the tackle and half go in, half not, then you're going to get messed up. Or if you never make the tackle, you're useless. You're not even playing the game, right? So that's the first thing. So I want you to start thinking about conversations, right? There's conversations and things in conversations between people that we'd like to avoid. But what if you took on this brand new perspective of actually attacking that, going straight to the thing that you don't want to speak about, going straight to the thing that you're most insecure, and you love that. You approach that. You give warmth and presence to that. You actually go for what threatens you the most. You face up to the bully in a kind of more metaphorical sense. What would happen is that if you had your conversations like that, you'd be a masterful communicator, and your relationships and your level of trust and your level of fearlessness would just go up. And that's really powerful. Another thing, like your mission, your life purpose, like you know that there's something for you to do, right? So you can kind of try to weasel your way out of it or kind of Just go onto an app and just kind of like beat yourself up, maybe say that you're not good enough, or maybe say like, oh, I should be doing this, because that's another way of hiding, by acting like you should be doing this, right? You could get caught up in that avoidance, or you could just attack it balls to the wall head on. You could risk whatever is there to be risked, and you could just approach with all your heart. Like that's, do you see there's two ways of living there? There's two modes of being. There's the approach way, right? There's this kind of approach inside of this human potential to approach life, to live life fully, to open up your heart. And there's also this kind of half life, right? Where you're half living, right? Where you're half approaching, where you're not really doing anything. Here's another one, and this is particularly for the fellas and maybe for the girls as well. But girls, right? Dude, like, what if the prettiest girl in the room that you wanted to have a conversation with, the one that you wanted to avoid the most, what if you approached her directly? What if you had the courage to go up and speak to them? Like, that would be pretty profound. A lot of the time, that energy, that confidence, that courage is attractive enough in itself. And then what if you took that way of being and you put it into every area of your life? Like, imagine how much more success, how much more beautiful your life would be, how much more on edge you would be, how much more powerful in a beautiful and empowering way would be. How many more people would you inspire? How many more people would you impact because you're attacking life, you're embracing challenge? So this frame is so beautiful. This way of cultivating this in your being is so amazing, because life is just full of challenges. Like, everywhere you look, life's difficult. And you can't escape life difficulty. Trust me, I've tried to, but every time I wake up to myself, I'm always faced with difficulty, whether it's in your work, whether it's in the thing that you want to do. Like, no matter where you go, you're going to experience difficulty. Now, what if you cultivated a love for difficulty? What if you learned to embrace challenge? Well, then, if you love difficulty, if you love challenge, ironically, you would love life, because it's so fundamental to life. And so I invite you, I'm making an invitation to you to love challenge, to love risk. Now, the thing is, it's very hard. If someone challenged me or invited me to love risk and challenge, I would actually back out and I'd feel quite depressed and low. But you do realize it's very hard for you to love challenge and love risk and love all these things unless some other conditions are in play. And here's some of the conditions that I've come up with. There's like 3 or 4, maybe 5. Number 1, you have to let go of your ego being attached to failure. So you need to free yourself from failure. Like, failure is a part of life, dude. You're going to experience your blows. Just open up to it. And a part of that is actually having self-love and love of self and compassion. Like, dude, life is difficult. If you want to do anything in life, you got to try something. You got to risk failure. And that's difficult. So love yourself for that. Go to the most insecure part of yourself that you've been avoiding and attack it. Attack it with love. Attack it with presence and appreciate it and bring it with you. Because when there's love there, you can achieve anything. You can do anything and you can get through anything. Love is this beautiful protective factor, this guidance. It is so, so understated. The other thing is prayer. Connect to a higher source. Connect to something greater than yourself. Go beyond yourself. Get out of your head. Get out of your ego. And kind of just develop faith. Because faith, I don't care what religion or thing that you follow, I've seen time and time again that faith makes you stronger and makes you more powerful. And like, you're just going to have a higher mission so beyond yourself. And that's the way that I see is the path to it. So pray and pray your heart out and pray constantly and submit yourself to the Most High. Submit yourself to the divine. Pray to God. That's a big one, my brother. Now, the final thing is ironically, resting, defending, and withdrawing. So it's actually appropriate and totally appropriate to go in silence, to be in retreat, and to love yourself and to give up on all these ambitions and things that drag you down and things that make you afraid in the world. It's totally okay to rest. And the deeper you rest and the more that you let go of, the more that you free yourself from the obligation of having to challenge yourself, the obligation of having to be perfect or fantastic and all these things, then the more you'll be totally free to take on life and be with life and to love challenges. And what will happen, those challenges will grow you and your character, and you'll discover your human potential and what's really possible. And that human potential, you'll dig so deep within that you will realize you're doing things that you never thought possible. And you will find something within you that is so valuable, that is so much more valuable than money, success, or anything. It's this noble soul, this noble heart, this burning passion, and you will stoke that fire and you will grow and you will approach life and you will enjoy life, right? But then you will enjoy the challenge and the game as well. And you will love fully and you will play fully. And that's what I'm inviting you towards today. If you'd like some support of this, I also offer coaching. So this is like a one-on-one service that you can purchase from me where we can go in depth what will take you over the line and kind of get you on purpose, get you on mission, and get you approaching life. So it's not really so much challenging and getting up, getting up you and kind of rah rah kind of motivational. It's more so looking deep within. What is guiding you? What is moving you forward? What's holding you back? Who are you? And who do you need to be? And who is inside of you right now? We're looking to your potential and then how that impacts every area of your life. Now, as well, you don't need to be purchasing coaching. You don't need to be purchasing coaching from me. You can do this with a journal. You can do this with self-reflection. Some people just like it. I have a coach. It really helps me. And I'd highly recommend it because it's awesome experience and your coach can always see things that you can't see. And it's really awesome in that way. But if you can't afford it right now, or you don't want to, or you don't feel comfortable, that's okay. Whatever you're doing, just at least be doing some sort of inner work. Grab a journal, grab a pen, and start digging, start looking with them. And you will be so surprised at how you show up in the world differently and how that impacts your results and all the incredible things that end up happening. So God bless you. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk soon.